Y bien, arrancamos un nuevo segmento de este hermoso programón que arrancó llamándose Es esto la fábrica. Lo seguimos llamando Es esto la fábrica. En este segmento del programa lo que tratamos de hacer siempre es de debatir, de analizar, de pensar junto a vos y algún entrevistado, entrevistada, la industria de la música, cómo se mueve esta parafernalia entre arte, managers, distribuidoras y artistas. Y cómo se logra que una obra se realice, se plasme y llegue hasta tus manos, del otro lado del continente, del otro lado del planeta, a la vuelta de la casa del artista, sea donde sea. Hace un montón de años había distribuidoras que llevaban containers llenos de CDs, de discos, de vinilos, de libros, de un lado para el otro. Hoy todo eso ha cambiado, hoy es todo más fácil si se quiere, pero bueno, en donde hay más facilidades también nacen otras dificultades. Y bueno, de eso se trata esta columna. Siempre tratamos de debatir, de pensar en conjunto. Hemos entrevistado a integrantes de sellos discográficos, organizadores de festivales, un montonazo de bandas. Y hoy nos vamos para Suecia. Vamos a hablar con NEON ROMEOZ, el número uno del funk sueco, por así decirlo. Y seguimos con esta gira de Careta Radio por Europa, ¿no? Ya hemos hablado con artistas de Francia, de Bélgica. Recuerdo cuando hablamos con Bélgica nos contaban que, o con Holanda también, que no había mucha armado, digamos, artístico para esos géneros que hacían ellos de heavy metal. Hoy vamos a hablar por primera vez con una banda alejana del rock pesado o algo así, o al punk, con eso. Si hoy estamos hablando de funk. Y si te parece, Raúl, lo llamamos al amigo de Neon. No sé cómo se va a hacer, yo veo que tiene el Meet, pero no veo a nadie. No sé si te vas a llamar, ahí está sonando. Mientras Raúl lo llama a NEON ROMEOZ. Bueno, te contaba, esto es de Suecia. ¿Cómo? Estamos al aire ahí. De Neon, hello, how are you? You speak, you listen to me. Hello, how are you?
Yeah. Hi, Raúl. I'm listening to the radio show. It's very nice.
Hello, desde Argentina. Hey. Bueno, Raúl, saludalo al amigo Neon y arranquemos con el cuestionario.
Dale, estamos hablando con Andy, guitarrista de NEON ROMEOZ, una banda sueca de funk. Así que vamos adelante para esto. Hello, Andy, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. How are you guys doing?
Well, thanks. Here we are, Raúl, myself from Barcelona, and Leo and Manu from Argentina. They are listening to you too.
Nice to meet you guys.
Okay, thanks. First of all, thanks for your time. And well, let's keep on with the interview. It's okay?
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to make a little translation, okay?
Sure.
Ok, bueno, le estaba agradeciendo por su tiempo, estaba diciéndole que, bueno, bienvenido al show y, bueno, vamos a empezar la entrevista con Andy, guitarrista de NEON ROMEOZ. So, Andy, please tell us your full name, where are you from, and how old are you, please?
I go by the name Andy Valentine in the band. That's the character I play. And I play guitar in the band. I'm born in New York, but I live in Stockholm, Sweden now.
Okay.
And I'm an old dog. I'm almost 50.
Almost 50. With you. There's no problem with all guys here. Okay. Okay. Nos estaba diciendo que es originario de Nueva York, nació en Nueva York, pero ahora está viviendo en Suecia. Y que tiene 50 años y que, bueno, su nombre es Andy Love, como va, es su seudónimo para the NEON ROMEOZ. Andy, please tell us which is the most important kind of music in your region now?
My favorite music that I've been listening to, like a lot of Ghost Notes, and I've been listening to this Prince-produced project called Madhouse, which is like instrumental jazz funk. Listening to a lot of that recently, Madhouse 8 and Madhouse 16 albums.
Ok, yo le pregunté cuál es la música más importante en su región, pero me contó que para él la más importante, la que más se está escuchando ahora, son música de los 60 y de los 70. Así que, bueno, calculo que debe ser funk. What was your first touch with music?
My first, well, my mother and my father, they had a big record collection when I was little, and so I grew up with lots of different music, like Stevie Wonder and like, you know, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, a lot of that kind of music, a lot of Beatles, and the Rolling Stones, a lot of Motown music. And then my mother bought this Prince album, Controversy, when it came out, like around 1982 or something.
Oh.
And I was hooked on Prince ever since then.
Wow, nice. Le preguntamos cómo fue que su primer acercamiento a la música, y dice porque su familia, su mamá y su papá tenían una cantidad de discos impresionantes, escuchó de todo, arrancó por Led Zeppelin y bueno, toda la movida setentosa rockera, hasta que en el 82 más o menos, cuando salió el disco de Prince, se enamoró de Prince y se quedó ahí. And Andy, which was your first instrument? ¿Cuál fue tu primer instrumento?
My first instrument was the drums. I played snare drum in school ensemble, and but I moved over to the guitar when I got a little older. Like, you know, so I probably around 16 I started playing guitar. Wow. Full time, you know.
Okay. No, nos contó que su primer instrumento fueron las baterías, el redoblante en el colegio, y que bueno, alrededor de los 16 años arrancó con la guitarra y parece que no la dejó más. And how do you get involved with funk music and why?
Well, I was just a Prince fanatic, and I couldn't get enough of his music, and I wanted to try to make that kind of music myself. Because I just couldn't get enough of it. I wanted to like see what makes it work, and I started playing other instruments like the bass and keyboards, and learning how to program drums on drum machines and stuff like that, and also playing a little bit of live drums. So I started trying to learn everything, and I got this little 4-track Porta Studio, like with a cassette. And I record multiple tracks by myself, like, you know, because I couldn't really find anybody that was into funk that I could play with. So I had to like do it myself when I was younger.
Wow.
So yeah, kind of I got into it. Like just copying Prince and George Clinton and Bootsy and stuff like that.
Claro, dice que bueno, era fanático de Prince desde muy chico, se fanatizó a partir del 82 que le llegó su primer disco, y que después empezó a tocar medio solo, a programar, después aprendió a programar baterías y a hacer más que nada cosas solo, bueno, y ahí fue como, bueno, era fanático de Bootsy Collins también y todo la música funk, y no era suficiente para él escucharla solamente, así que empezó a hacer música él mismo. And can you tell us how was the beginning of the NEON ROMEOZ?
Well, I was studying in a music school, and I seen this guy who was singing, like, you know, and I was like, damn, he sounds good. He's got a soulful, funky kind of voice, and we were going in parallel classes, and I approached him and I gave him some demos that I made. And I was also playing with an instrumental band that had Magnus, the keyboard player, who's still with us in the NEON ROMEOZ at the time. And I said, hey man, we should do a new band, and you're going to be the lead vocalist. I said to this guy, we call him Rolex. And I said, you should be the lead singer of this band. So we just started the NEON ROMEOZ kind of like that. And we were doing kind of covers, like weird covers, like weird Prince B-side songs, like not top 40 covers, but like, you know, Fill You Up with Prince and Shaky Ground with the Temptations. And it was like a Cutie Pie with One Way, the band One Way, and just like whatever we felt like doing. And then that evolved into writing our own music, and then we started performing and adding new members and stuff like that, until we eventually became the group that we are today, like, you know. And we got some really great players in the band that I'm really happy with the lineup we have now.
Wow, yes, excellent music, man. Nos estaba contando que, bueno, él estudió en una escuela de música y ahí conoció a un cantante que le gustaba mucho, que iban a clases paralelamente, y bueno, le pasó un par de demos que él tenía. Él ya venía tocando en una banda medio instrumental y empezaron a hacer música funk, a hacer covers no tan conocidos, así él dice covers bizarros, pero son tipo los lados B de Prince o cosas por el estilo, y ahí empezaron con este cantante, él y el tecladista que todavía sigue, en la banda a hacer covers. Y bueno, después de hacer un montón de covers y de presentaciones en vivo, empezaron a hacer sus propios temas. Y bueno, y ahí fue el principio de los NEON ROMEOZ, que es una banda, repito, una banda sueca de funk. Así que súper interesante todo lo que nos está contando. Why that name? Why the NEON ROMEOZ name? ¿Por qué el nombre?
Well, I remember we love Lenny Kravitz, and I remember that he was in a band with this guy, Tony Lamont, and I think there was somebody else, maybe Mickey Free maybe was in that band. It was Lenny Kravitz, Mickey Free, and Lamont had a band called Romeo Blue. I always thought that name sounded kind of cool, like, you know. And the singer was always talking about like 80s neon stuff, so I just took like those two things and I put them together, and it sounded like, you know, funky 80s vibe, like Neon Romeo. So it just kind of stuck. I came up with the name and it's like, yeah, that sounds cool. So we just went with it.
Ok, nice story. Nos cuenta que eran... Sí, terrible todo lo que está contando. Buenísimo, tiene una data de funk terrible. Nos contó, bueno, que también en ese momento, cuando estaban empezando la banda, escuchaban a Lenny Kravitz y había una banda paralela de Kravitz que se llamaba algo de Romeo, y esta persona que acompañaba a Lenny Kravitz hablaba siempre de cosas de los 80, de los carteles del neón. Bueno, y ellos encontraron buena la unión de Romeo con los carteles del neón, que es algo bien gráfico.
Es que el neón es re ochentoso.
Es bien 80.
Es re Prince, el neón, es todo eso, me encanta.
Well, we are glad the stories that you are talking with us. We like
thank you. Telling them.
Okay. And what does the lyrics talk about? ¿De qué hablan las líricas?
Having a good time, I guess, and just partying and having fun, and pretty much that. I mean, there's one a broken heart song called "You Put a Hurt on Me," which is kind of bluesy. Maybe like you can hear a little bit of Lenny Kravitz, Led Zeppelin meets Prince kind of mix in that one. But mostly it's just about, like, you know, celebrating life and having a good time.
Wow. Sí, dice que las letras hablan de celebrar la vida, pasar un buen momento, y se nota eso también, que tienen un toque rockero, aparte de todo el funk que le meten en los solos de guitarra también. Dice que mezclan bastante Prince, pero quizás con Lenny Kravitz y algunos toques de Led Zeppelin también. That is a nice mixture. Eso es una muy buena mezcla. Sí. Bueno, can you tell us something about the process of making songs in your band? ¿Nos puede contar el proceso de hacer canciones?
Well, we jam them up sometimes, or sometimes, a lot of times I'll make a demo and I'll play all the instruments, and then I'll show it to the other guys and they'll add their parts or maybe redo it and play it better. Like, you know, the bass player we have, he's just so awesome that, like, you know, he can take it to the next level. And same with Magnus on the keyboards and Jonathan on the drums. And then sometimes the singer Rollo will come over and he'll come up with an idea for the vocals, and we'll write lyrics together. There's one song that I recorded in West Palm Beach, in Florida. It started with a friend of mine who's also helped out with some of the writing of this album. His name is Del Francisco. He lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. So I was over visiting him and we were just jamming, and, like, you know, we're playing on beer bottles. You can still hear the beer bottles in the background of the song called High Class Lover. That's from the original, like, jam session we had at his house.
Wow.
So some were overdubbed, but some tracks stayed. So every song is kind of unique, that they kind of came about in different ways. But yeah, that one was a fun one to do.
Wow. Sí, nos cuenta que, bueno, Andy generalmente arma como un demo, después se lo presenta al resto de los compañeros de su banda y lo van transformando un poquito, y que tuvieron una jam session también en California, de la cual quedaron un par de sonidos ahí, pero generalmente, bueno, lo que dice es que él arma un par de demos y después lo van deformando con la banda, así que terrible. Es una persona que parece que tiene oportunidad de viajar un montón, así que es un placer hablar con gente así, y que tiene también tan metida en la cabeza la música. And can you tell us the process in the audio? How do you decide the audio of each song? ¿Cómo deciden los audios de las canciones?
Well, some of the tracks, we recorded them like with the drummer and the bass player and I playing live, looking at each other. So it's like one continuous live take. And then we'll do keyboard overdubs or add maybe an extra guitar part. And then, Magnus has an awesome setup of keyboards, the keyboard player, and he's got like an Oberheim and a Prophet and a real Fender Rhodes, and we'll just like try to go for that kind of vibe that, like, you know, you recognize from George Bootsy and all that kind of stuff.
Wow. Dice que graban en vivo, que graban en vivo el guitarrista, el bajista y el baterista, y bueno, y después el tecladista se va metiendo también y van procesando ahí los sonidos todo en vivo, y bueno, la decisión es un poco compartida y más que nada lo que me impactó es que graban en vivo, sí, es unas bestias me parece con lo que estamos hablando. Manu, no sé si querés hacer alguna pregunta. Manu,
millón.
Sí, the person that is in Argentina have a million questions, so he's going to make some questions, Andy.
Okay. Hit me.
Quería preguntarle primero, hello Andy, we are talking with Andy Love de NEON ROMEOZ, sensacional invitado. Quería preguntarle a qué edad se fue de Nueva York a Suecia, si me ayudan amigos Raúl, Leo, alguno de los dos, a preguntarle a qué edad viajó para Suecia.
When you changed New York for Sweden?
Well, a long time ago, my mother got remarried and we moved to Sweden. So, and then I just stayed. I moved back and forth between here and Florida and New York. But now I got, you know, I've moved here to Sweden permanently, pretty much. Whoa. But maybe I'll move to Spain in the future. I love it so much there every time I've been there, so maybe I'll move to Spain in the future.
Good people in Spain. Thanks. Always good people. Dice que sí, que se movió mucho por Florida, Nueva York y Suecia. ¡Qué locura! Bueno, porque fue el segundo casamiento de su madre y se fue a vivir a Suecia. ¡Qué locura! Y que tiene muchas ganas de ir a vivir a España. No sé si tenés alguna otra pregunta, Manu, decime.
Sí, esto sigue. Quiero preguntarle si él pudo llegar a ver en vivo a Prince, a George Clinton, a los Parliament Funkadelic, que él nos contó que tenía más de 50 años. Preguntarle justo por esos artistas, si los pudo ver en vivo, sobre todo a Prince.
Have you ever been to a Prince concert or maybe Funkadelic or some funk concert?
Yes, I've seen Zapp twice. I've seen Bootsy a couple times. I've seen George Clinton probably like 6 times. I've seen Prince probably around more than 10 times.
Really?
And seen The Time once in New York. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
You're really like.
Once I love all that stuff. So and just yesterday I seen Judith Hill, who was like a Prince associated artist. That Prince recorded a whole album with her in Paisley Park.
Wow.
And the concert was awesome. She's really good, not just at singing, but her guitar solos were amazing. I didn't know she could play that good.
Wow. Sí, dice que vio un montón de veces a Prince, un montón de veces a Bootsy Collins. Wow, man. Wow.
¿Y a Miles Davis? ¿A Miles Davis?
Andy,
Preguntale por Miles Davis, porque Miles Davis y Prince han llegado a tocar juntos y muchos músicos, nada, es como un ámbito así medio cercano, aunque en el sonido uno los encuentre lejanos, nada, suele ser como ahí. Preguntale por Miles Davis, porque capaz lo vio.
And you like jazz music, maybe Miles Davis and that kind of jazz?
Yeah. I have a 17-year-old. He's a total jazz cat, so we listen to a lot of jazz here because of my son. But I also like to listen to it myself.
Wow.
I like the old stuff. I like Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters and all that kind of stuff too.
Sí, dice que tiene un hijo que es fanático del jazz y que toda esa música está súper presente en la casa. Wow.
Sí. Se nota en los audios que elige, se nota mucho en los tipos de instrumentos. Y ahora le quería preguntar por el sonido Minneapolis, que él lo ha podido adoptar muy bien en su proyecto. si nos podría describir él, que vio a Prince, que vio a tantas bandas en vivo, ¿qué es lo que distingue al sonido ese de Prince, al sonido Minneapolis?
Do you understand, Andy? How do you define the Minneapolis sound, the Prince sound? How do you define it?
I would say it's a very eclectic sound, but it's very heavily, like, you know, it's got a lot of funk. It probably, maybe it's like, you know, but it's got like rock, and it's, when you listen to Sheila E., you can hear like the Latin influence and stuff like that, or even on Prince albums, you can hear Latin influence, and you can hear like some, like on the Parade album, Under the Cherry Moon, the soundtrack, you can hear like steel drums, like Caribbean influences coming in, and it's just a very eclectic sound, I think, but heavily influenced by funk, and, you know, also with synthesizers in the early days instead of like horns.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Bueno, ahí nos contaba, déjame traducirla a mí que la entendí clarísimo, nos hablaba de Sheila E. Sheila E. es hija de Sheila E., es hija de un espectacular percusionista, creo que puertorriqueño, y él hablaba de cómo Sheila fue como una gran influencia en el sonido de Minneapolis, porque es la rama latina en este sonido tan ecléctico que es el sonido Minneapolis de Prince, cómo Prince agarra lo latino y lo mezcla con ese funk, con ese rock. Interesantísima definición del sonido Minneapolis. Yo no lo hubiese encarado nunca por el lado latino. Y bueno, estoy chocho con el coso, y le quería preguntar por el vivo de Neon, porque los vivos de Prince, los vivos de los Funkadelic, en los Parla en Funkadelic aparecía un ovni, un extraterrestre en el medio del show, arrancaban ahí, ellos salían como una nave. Bueno, ni hablar los shows de Prince. ¿Cómo son los sonidos, los shows de NEON ROMEOZ? ¿Cómo son? ¿Qué tienen?
Sí, yo le quería preguntar, Andy, is there a funk circuit in Sweden, and how do you get involved with the scene? How do you play live? ¿Cómo hacen los shows en vivo, y si hay un circuito un circuito de funk en Suecia?
Well, I wouldn't say there's a big funk scene here. There's a couple of bands, but there's not that many. You kind of have to make your own scene, like, you know. So it's taken quite a few years, but now I think we've kind of built up a following, and yeah, we have a lot of people that show up at the concerts now. So it's really nice.
Muy bueno, muy bueno. Sí, dice que no hay un circuito muy grande de música funk en Suecia, pero que la gente se va acercando y se divierte mucho en los shows. And the shows of the NEON ROMEOZ, how are they? ¿Cómo son los shows?
They're pretty wild. They're like, we have a lot of energy, and we try to get the crowd up, whip them up into a frenzy, like, you know. So people are just dancing, and everybody's like all sweaty at the end. And we wear, like, you know, pretty. We try to look like a little bit like Kid Creole and the Coconuts, or a little bit like, you know, like a jazzy kind of look with zoot suits and different kind of crazy clothes, like, you know, to try to look a little bit different, like, you know. But for myself, I'm pretty inspired by like Kid Creole and the Coconuts as far as looks go, and the other guys kind of like maybe are a little bit like Prince inspired, like, you know. Like Magnus will wear like a leather biker jacket, and he'll have, like, you know, a biker hat on and a polka dotted shirt and black jeans and stuff like that. And then the bass player will wear some like designer fancy clothes, like Armani or something, looking like that.
Wow.
And, yeah, like a little bit like Bruno Mars too. Like the drummer will wear a pink suit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so everybody's a little bit different, but it's kind of like we have a vibe, I guess you could say, when you see us.
Wow. Sí, dice que se mezclan de todo, que se disfrazan de cocoteros, de un descontrol, que cada uno utiliza como su impronta, pero la mezcla hace todo un show bien loco, bien.
La palabra
luminoso.
que usó fue salvaje.
Salvaje, exactamente, sí, que se ve algo salvaje en el escenario. We want to see you live.
We we want to come over and play for you guys as soon as possible.
You told us that you play in Spain sometimes, but in the south of. Dice, vinieron ya a España, pero tocan en el sur de España. Which other countries do you usually play? ¿En qué otros países, aparte de España y Suecia, tocan?
We played in Denmark twice, and we're hoping to go back there again as soon as possible. We're talking with a guy in Copenhagen, Denmark, about booking some shows, and that's about it. We were booked in Colorado in the States, but it didn't happen. It was for a festival, but then the festival ended up not happening at all. Like there was going to be, it's called the International Funk Out, and they were going to have bands from Japan, Holland, and Sweden, us, and maybe some other places. And then there would be a bunch of American bands too, like old classic bands like the Brides of Funkenstein, or there was like maybe Sheila E. was going to be there and stuff like that. So that would have been awesome, but it didn't happen.
Maybe in the future, maybe in some future.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're still talking with the booker there about doing something, but we'll see.
Sí, dicen que hay como un circuito internacional de música funk que hay en Japón, en Suecia y en Estados Unidos, y que bueno, se están reuniendo bandas que habían armado un par de shows, bueno, pero se vinieron abajo, así que en el futuro quizás lo van a volver a reorganizarlo. Es increíble, we are really we are smiling now, Andy, talking with you.
Same here.
No,
got a big old smile from ear to ear.
Wow, nice, and thanks for your time, man. Really thanks.
Después preguntarle por los pedales y esas cositas de las guitarras que nos gusta saber siempre.
Estamos todos muy contentos, le estoy diciendo que estamos todos con una sonrisa en la cara hablando con él. La verdad que haber encontrado una banda sueca de funk es un verdadero lujo, gente que estudió, que tiene súper armadas las cosas. We want you to explain a little of your gear. Can you tell us which is your guitar and your pedals, please?
Okay, well, my pedals, I use a couple of different pedals, but let me see, I'm looking at my pedal board right now. I'll tell you exactly what I'm using right now.
Okay, thanks.
I have, on the top row, I have a chromatic tuner, a TU2 by Boss. I have a Decimator 2 noise reduction pedal. And then I have a Neo clone chorus pedal. And then I have an old school Boss BF2 flanger pedal, which is a must if you're going to get that Prince sound. Prince had that.
Yeah.
And then I have a Boss digital delay DD3. And then on my next row, that's closer to me, I have a Wampler Ego compressor, and I have a DoD envelope filter, and then I have a Boss Super Overdrive SD1W Wazacraft, which is also kind of for that Prince sound. And then if I want to take it up a notch, I have an MXR Sugar Drive.
Wow.
And the last pedal I have, also a Boss pedal, is a Super Octave OC3, which is also kind of gets that Prince, like, you know, he used it on When Doves Cry, the guitar solo. It's like an octave down effect.
Wow.
So yeah, that's my pedals. And my guitars, I'll either play a Fender Stratocaster or a Fender American Telecaster. Sometimes I'll use a Gibson for like that blues rock song, You Put a Hurt on Me, that we have on the album, to get a little heavier sound. Or I'll use a Gibson Flying V or a Gibson Les Paul.
Wow, that's more Lenny Kravitz stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I have a custom-made Fender Jazz bass that I kind of made myself with active EMG pickups. That
Wow.
I usually use it for playing the demos, but there is one track on the album where I am playing bass, the song called Temptress. That's me playing bass.
Wow. tiene de todo. Yo más o menos pude anotar. Tiene hasta un bajo customizado hecho por él mismo. Bueno, y lo más importante quizás es que tiene un Neon Bass Flanger también, y un par de distorsiones, que es lo que más lo acerca a Prince, digamos. Y generalmente usa guitarras Fender, y tiene una Gibson para hacer sonidos más pesados en alguna balada un poco más bluesera. Pero está equipado hasta la gorra. Estamos hablando con un músico de la puta madre, con un corazón bien funkero, y es muy interesante también fíjense que no se va para el soul, siempre se queda en lo funk. You don't like soul music, or you try to stay away from soul, or you emphasize in funk and rock?
Kind of soul R&B-ish kind of songs, I guess. Like the song VIP kind of starts off a little bit soulful, and we have the ballad Exotic Places, which is kind of like a soulful R&B kind of ballad.
Okay. See,
but you can still hear the Prince in it. But I mean, Prince would do all kinds of music, so it's kind of hard to get away.
Of course.
I mean, you can hear Prince in everything we do, I think, a little bit.
Okay. Dice que, bueno, que tiene un par de baladas más cercanas al rhythm and blues y el soul, pero más que nada, bueno, es funk rock, y que dice que Prince se puede escuchar en todo, así que está... I can hear a little of Michael Jackson and Bruno Mars, too. Puedo escuchar un poco de Michael Jackson y Bruno Mars también.
Quincy Jones.
A
little of Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
Wow. We are impressed, man.
Le preguntás por Argentina si conoce algo de nosotros,
sí.
Alguna banda, algo para...
Sí. Do you know anything about South American music? Maybe Brazil, Argentina, that kind of music? Have you ever heard?
And the tangos. I'm actually studying in music school right now to become a music teacher.
Oh.
And I've also started as a guitar teacher, but we've been learning a little bit of tango just recently on a nylon string guitar, so I've been doing some of that.
Wow.
And I'm also singing like jazz standards right now, so I'm learning how to sing I Only Have Eyes for You. And I'm playing piano also. I'm playing an old jazz song called Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby. So a little bit of that and stuff like that.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot to say what kind of amps I use. I use Fender amps, like a Fender Deluxe Reverb reissue amp.
Wow.
And I also use an orange rocker, I think the rocker verb.
Wow.
Get a little bit more rocky sound, but it sounds good clean too.
Yeah. The orange, it's kind of... you can use it both ways. Sí, dice que tiene... Sí, que tiene...
Steve Wonder back in the day.
Yeah, que está tirando una cantidad de data impresionante que me quedo loco. Me estoy quedando loco. Estamos todos sonriendo, escuchando. Bueno, dice que tiene un Orange y que tiene otro equipo más. Y que está estudiando para ser profesor de música y que está escuchando mucho tango. Así que me quedé callado también con eso. Es impresionante. And do you like bossa nova, maybe?
Yeah. I love... There's only two kinds of music, really. There's good music and bad music.
Yes.
So I just love all music. I love all good music.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter where it comes from or what you call it. If it's good, it's good, you know. So I just try to be really open. I mean, and I try to steal from everybody.
Of course. Wow. Dice sí que no, la música no importa de dónde venga, siempre que sea buena música. Hay mala música y buena música, y que no le interesa tanto de dónde venga, sino que es un placer para él disfrutar de la buena música. Terrible. Here is Leo with us, that is from Argentine too. Leo, no sé si le querés hacer alguna pregunta.
No, está muy bien.
¿No?
Preguntale por las redes, por YouTube, dónde lo podemos encontrar.
Sí. Andy, we are really glad to meet you. It's an honor and a pleasure for us. Es un honor y un placer escucharlo. And which are the future plans for the Neon Romeoz? ¿Cuáles son los planes futuros?
To come and play all over Spain and hang out with you guys and to play as much as possible. And we're already starting to work on we're working on our next album already. We have a couple of different concepts in mind, but maybe it'll be a little bit more jazz influenced, this next album coming up, but it will still definitely be more funk than anything else. But there'll be like, maybe a little bit of more live horns here and there and stuff.
Wow.
We'll see how it comes out, but yeah, that's the idea anyway.
Dice que, bueno, tienen como planes en el futuro de tocar por donde puedan tocar lo más que se pueda, y que también ya están armando las ideas del próximo disco, que esperan que sea un poco más jazzeado porque va a tener más hay trompetas en vivo, sonidos brasis en vivo, así que vamos, we are waiting for it. Ya estamos esperando por el
maybe
próximo
we'll try
disco.
to do a song with a part in Spanish maybe too, because we have so many Spanish speaking fans, so maybe we'll do something that like has one verse in Spanish or something.
Funk en español, Spanish funk, wow, from Sweden, man. Dice que van a hacer algunas...
Crazy.
Really crazy, sí, que van a hacer algunas canciones con algunas partes en español. You release an album in August, Exotic Places.
Yeah.
It's a really nice album to hear, and thanks for sharing with us the album. Sacaron un disco ahora en agosto, Lugares Exóticos, Exotic Places, en agosto del 2021. Bueno, lo van a presentar en todos lados y ya están armando el próximo. Así que una locura todo lo que nos contó. La primera banda sueca que tenemos acá de funk. Andy, can you tell us where we can meet the music of the Neon Romeoz, your social medias and that kind of stuff, please?
Yeah, you can find it Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, Amazon, and hopefully in the near future we're going to have it available in a physical form on CD and vinyl, but it's not yet available in a physical format, so you're going to have to wait a couple months maybe for that to come out on vinyl and CD.
Okay, we will wait. Dice que todavía no tienen los discos en formato físico, bueno, se puede escuchar en Tidal, en Spotify, en todos lados. And can you tell us your Facebook and your Instagram, please? El Facebook y el Instagram.
Well, you just search for the Neon Romeoz on Facebook and you'll find us. And on Instagram, it's the Neon Romeoz official. It's called.
Okay. Okay. Dice que los podemos encontrar en Neon Romeoz oficial, y en Facebook también están como de Neon Romeoz, así que una locura, una locura la entrevista. Estamos súper contentos de haber escuchado a esta bestia de la música que está súper preparado, hizo la universidad, ahora está haciendo, se está preparando para ser profesor de música, y es una banda de funk de Suecia, así que una bestialidad. No sé si Manu o Leo tienen algo más para decir.
No estamos, Raúl.
Man, we are really glad to
las redes,
sí,
quería ver eso y estamos.
To meet you, and it's a really pleasure to meet you. Thanks you very much.
Muchas gracias. Very nice. The pleasure is unmeasurable on my side.
I'm so
happy to do this kind of thing, and I love talking and meeting new friends and talking with people.
Of course, and
doing interviews. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, we promise that when you are in Spain or maybe in Argentina or Latin America, we are going to your show.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hook you up with backstage passes.
Of course. Thank you. And something to drink. Thank you very much, Andy. We keep in touch, Andy. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Muchas gracias.
Hasta luego. Bye bye.
Así pasaba Andy Love de Neon Romeo, excelente entrevista, hemos pasado acá un rato excelente con el amigo Raúl y me imagino que nos vamos a ir escuchando a los Neon ya de una.
Exactamente, vamos a escuchar High Class Lover, el último single que sacaron del disco del 2021, es Exotic Places, qué mal que estoy con el inglés hoy, así que vamos a escucharlo y vamos, qué gran banda, vamos a ir disfrutando.
Vamos a bailar, brother, vamos a bailar.
Exactamente.
Style, not your average profile. I just don't care if people stop and stare. Too fine and sexy, not too easily found. I don't need to be things, the finer things in life. Once we get this started, you ain't never won't stop. I think I kinda like you, I just might make you my wife. High class lover is where you wanna be, living in the life of luxury. High class lover, the only way to be, gon' be a real life fantasy.
Talking about the glitz, talking about the glamour. Girl, he knows how to push your buttons better than a computer programmer. If you catch my sound what's happening, girl. She's on the line.
Hi, nice to meet you. Don't you know you sugar daddy?
Tell me more.
Sweet thing, oh can't you see? You don't need that man.
Oh really?
I got what you need.
Cash, money, time rings, and fancy things, fast cars, gold bars, more money, and black cars. Check it out. Girl, I think he's giving me a buzz. Take me to left. Say, baby, can I borrow some money till next week? I'll pay you right back. You know I'm good for it.